Start the show, yeah? So, I think if you watch this show, you're kind of one of those people that are aware it's all bullshit. You kind of know that it doesn't matter. None of it matters. But one of the first things we should probably think about, as moderns, classics, and humans in general, is what the fuck is a family? Like, how does that unit make sense? Why do we insist on it? And who decided it was so fucking important anyway? Like, I get that, wolves, when, you know, they have cubs, they, like, raise them and hang out and hunt together, but even they leave. In nature, it's not so much that you're stuck with your family as much as they help you grow up into an adult, and then you go be an adult. Humans, we have this sort of sick sentimentality, this sort of residual need to be needed and wanted and liked. So we cling to the family unit because, you know, fuck it, there's nothing else or something like that. And I mean, it makes sense why we insist that it's important, because if you think about it, if one of your relatives gets rich, then maybe you're gonna want some of that money, etc. Maybe you're gonna want to leech off the benefits that another one of your family member has. It's very natural, and it makes a lot of sense where family comes from if you consider the inherently selfish and sort of narcissistic nature of man. But my question is, why is it useful? Why do we want it? What's the point of fucking insisting on it? I don't think there is one. It's kind of horseshit. It doesn't help. It just keeps us sedated and locked in masses. And that's exactly what the overlords want. I get that. But as people,
why the fuck do we listen to the overlords?
If we want to call ourselves democratic, and if we want to be democratic, we should work together rather than for them. That's kind of the fucking point. A little bit heated on this topic because I've always hated family. Personally, I'm related to stupid people. I'm related to people who have instead of fucking brains. So I just don't really feel that much of a family tie naturally. But I also see a lot of people that I deeply care about trapped within toxic environments just because of some fucking blood. And then people always love to say blood's thicker than water. Guess what? That's a fucking misquote. The blood of the covenant, meaning when you cut off the foreskin of your dick, is thicker than the water of the womb, meaning birth. So literally, like, sacrifice, blood, matters more than family. That's the point there. The point isn't that
your family relations are going to be, like, more connected to you than your water relations or friends.
Oh, God. Also, this is sort of a more chill point, but humans are like 90-80% water. So water relations would be pretty meaningful. It's kind of dope. I like that one. So water relations, pretty cash. Whew. So, you have more of a responsibility to the larger community than you do to your family or your country. And when I say larger community, I'm speaking in pretty meta terms where you're talking about humanity as a large, and I don't mean each individual. I'm not talking about the argument where be nice to everybody because inside everybody is a person that you should empathize with. It's not that bullshit. Terrorists are assholes, murderers are assholes, rapists are assholes. Don't fucking deal with them no matter what color or religion they are. But larger humanity is a thing you can care about, and it's kind of I think it's really important to care about. It's important to think about. It's something that we should all maybe keep in mind. I know I do, and I'm just saying that I think it makes me a nicer person. It's not like, I don't know if it's a good thing to do, but I think it does make me treat people better. And so I think there's, like, inherent value in that. And, well, not inherent value in like a sense of it makes you a better person, but it just kind of makes life a better and smoother experience because it makes more sense when you can empathize. And the reason why I hate family and nationalities so much is because they're inherently anti-empathetic notions. Sure, you can have this like really deep connection with your family, but you can have a really deep connection with anybody. It doesn't matter who they are, it doesn't matter how poor or rich they are, it doesn't matter where they come from. Sure, these things help, but ultimately, someone who grew up on the Mediterranean Sea and someone who grew up in a mountain on Africa can relate on a basic human experience. Everybody is related in some way because we share the same DNA. We are inherently more the same than we are separate. Families are just a higher degree of the same. And the thing is, we're already fucking human. So I don't think you need to replace the human category with family. And maybe the response to this is...
That's idealism. But
like, sure, it might be idealism. But at least it helps you tend towards the right direction. At least it's not cowardice. At least it's not the inclination to be too scared to set out from your front door. You know? And plus, I do think you can live it out practically. I think you can live out the love of humanity. All you need to do is, like, focus on other people. All you need to do is focus on trying to contribute something meaningful and deep and something to the best of your abilities. It's more important just to try and do your best than it is to, like, rep anyone, you know? You should help people. You should help as many people as you can, but you don't need to let people just attach to your legs by the teeth. You don't need to let people be dead weights. Never feel like you need to rep anyone if they won't help you. If your mother is a shithead, fuck her. If the people you grew up around are shitheads, fuck them. Just forget about them. Because you need to focus on doing the best you can. And I'm not saying that, like, for any inherent, like, reward, that it's not to get into heaven, which is kind of tangible. It's not to achieve some sort of enlightenment. It's nothing like that. It's just to enjoy your fucking time. It's just to have a good life. It's just to stress less. It's just to not die of a fucking aneurysm. Just focus on taking care of yourself. Focus on what your needs are. And focus on what needs you can help other people with. Because if you can help other people with needs, they will most likely help you with yours. And if you do that on a large enough scale, you'll have a fine life. Just be kind to enough people and you'll be connected enough to get something to work with and get paid for it. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to be an engineer that creates the perfect whatever. You don't need to be Mr. Family Guy. You don't need to be the best brother. You just need to be a good human that doesn't stress themselves out too much and contributes more good than they do bad and is at least striving to do the best that they can. Philosophy is basically a waste of time. It's a lot of stressing. What it's useful for is the fact that it was a pretty complex version of thought, so it's about as useful as I would say Sudoku, and it's pretty entertaining at points.
Fine as Neolithic pottery.
But when it comes to actually being happy, the Japanese fucking have it better. And I don't mean in a weeaboo sense. I mean in wabi-sabi. Just that. It's a very simple and quick idea. It's about sadness and the wear away of time. It's about the beauty that things sort of grow by being used and broken in. And it's about just feeling poignance. It's kind of also a lonely feeling, you know? It's a feeling of being aware of the wear of life. And of time, because it's not just life. I mean, this cup will wear down. These rocks on the table, wherever the fuck they are, rock, will wear down. And eventually all things will come to pass. And if you can find beauty and peace with that idea, you're fine. You can get through life. And that's why I think that wabi-sabi is just the only philosophical idea that you need. The rest of it is kind of decoration.
Strive towards the ultimate good so that you can be the ultimate good man.
I don't give a fuck.
Be a good Christian so that God will blow you.
Not really interested, you know?
Be a good man and get sex in heaven.
None of these things are really going to make you happy. All you need to do is just be happy with what you are. You know? Be happy with what you got. Learn to accept life, the world, and being in it, and you'll probably do fine. So, with that in mind, I don't think family's that important. Because if they stress you out and they're more like negative vibes than anything else, you don't really need them. They're going to make your life worse. They're going to make you sadder. And to be honest, you're probably going to regret spending 30, 40 years of your life with them. So much better to follow your dreams instead, man. So much better just to be an interesting person than to be a good cousin. I would say 100% that I belong more to the world than any family line, than any culture. I'm an animal. We're all animals. We're just living on planet Earth. Clans don't fucking matter. We're just this weird thing that adapted from water and still uses mostly water, that roams around rocks and then will eventually die. That's more relatable to me. Just the fact that we're all sort of here right now. And I can understand the importance of family too, through the level of contemporary, you know? I need to stop saying you know so much. That's such a douchey phrase. But families can be kind of interesting in terms of contemporary. Historical families are ultimately just entirely bullshit. My great-grand, fuck you. But families that are like brothers, sisters, cousins make sense because they're contemporaries and you can relate to them on a generational standpoint. So they're interesting people to know sometimes, but ultimately that's not because of family, that's just luck of the draw. Sometimes you're related to cool people that grow up and have the same values as you. Other times you don't. Other times they're fucking assholes. So, it's not that all family is bad. It's that the slavery to family is bad. It's that our insistence on it and our suffocation of the events of it. There's so much tradition seeped in family where there's too much stress for it to be easy to be a good family. It's a lot of work. It's too much work for most people, especially with people who have over 5 kids. Fuck. Sometimes for people who have 2 kids. So the point that's kind of a theme with me now is that the important part is what you're working on and that you can work well. It's not so much that you fit in well to the structure. It's not so much that you are a good functioning and well adjusted piece into a system. It's that you're working well at what your talents are and doing so comfortably so that you can develop in a better way. There's a sort of belief that rigid structure and never being able to be comfortable and just like having like a really dismal and brutal life makes you like a smarter and more productive person. But that's a load of bullshit, because we can tell that healthier human minds and people who feel better, their brain functions better. If you're happier, your memory's quicker, you go through things quicker, you just connect the dots in a better, more efficient fashion because you want to. If you're unhappy and depressed and forced to live a lifestyle you don't want to, your brain is sluggish. It kind of gives the fuck up, and why wouldn't it? If you don't want to survive, why would your body want to survive? It's a really sort of obvious connection between depression and unproductivity. And it's kind of fucked up that that's the reason why businesses kind of care about it now. The reason why so many people are depressed is because of the business style life. A lot of people with mental disorders in old times had it better because they didn't have to deal with management. They could just fucking work. And if their work was good enough, people accepted it. It wasn't if you were really excited to be there. It wasn't if you could smile at everyone. It wasn't if you were really good at planning parties or bullshit like that, which is crucial to the workplace today. It was all about the quality of what you produce. And now you sort of still have that in things like math and science, but it's... Craftsmen deserve that too. They deserve to just get by on their own merits if their merits are good enough. And the way to get to that level isn't through standardized teaching, it isn't through groupthink, it isn't through any of that. It's just through practice and study. That's all. Just let people practice and study. And you should just practice and study. There isn't really any mystery card to life. There isn't really much else you need to do. You just need to dedicate yourself to something. If you dedicate yourself to school, you're gonna end up getting so fucking lost. It doesn't really give you shit, man. They say it will, and everybody will tell you will, because they buy into the idea, but it doesn't work. We're all symptoms of it not working. School does work, education does work, but the current education system is shitty. And, I mean, I would say most public schooling systems are shitty. The best way to teach is apprenticeship. It should just be small groups of people with people who have talents passing it on. It's just the most efficient way of teaching, in my opinion. But that isn't to say public school can't be done better than it is being done right now. So, my point is just throw away the things that weigh you down. If it's school or religion or community or family or any of these things that make you feel like you can't be you, fuck them. Forget about them. They're not important. Just be you. Just do you. It's the only thing you can do. Family is worth nothing. Fucking community is worth nothing. Fucking schools are worth nothing. The only thing that is worth something is you. There is nothing else in your life that you should focus on except for becoming a fucking useful person. It should just be something that you care about and do. It shouldn't be selfishness or a hobby. It should just be what you have a responsibility to fucking grow inside yourself so that we can all reap the harvest of it. Nurture yourself so that you don't grow up into a big baby and so that we don't have to take care of you. Don't let schools baby you into becoming fucking placid. Just weak-willed. Don't become a sponge. Don't flow with the wind. Don't let yourself be knocked over by nothing. Have a fucking backbone. Care about something. Chase something. Just for the love of God, give a shit. For the love of God. Even though I believe in none of it. So I guess for the love of humanity, give a shit. For the love of the world, for the sake of being. For the sake of being in the same place, meaning planet, as other people, give a shit. Try to be kind. Try to be nice to everyone, even if they're not your color, even if they're not your gender. Just try to get along. We need to. There's too many of us. And war is just shitty. It's just shitty because the rich get richer through it and the poor get fucked. So don't fight anybody's battles but your own. It'll just be better for you if you are your own champion and not the slave of some fucking bullshit. So I really do hope that what I'm saying doesn't come across as sort of shallow hedonism or individualism or something like that. But my point is that, I mean, I think I've reiterated it many times, it's just that you should take care of yourself. There is a certain responsibility you have for your own body and person and life. And instead of trying to rebel against that or anything, you should just accept it and try to meet the responsibilities. So that's basically what I'm trying to get after with the philosophy or the like lifestyle that I'm sharing. It's pretty much just be nice and be competent. Those are the two values that I think we should instill in ourselves and others, because it's important. We should be nice and be competent. Those are the two things we should aspire to be. Nothing else really matters. It doesn't matter if you know calculus. No one needs to know fucking calculus except for the people who use calculus, and that's not many of us, to be honest. It would have been much better for me to have a course in Norse mythology than it would to go to, I don't know, fucking chemistry, physics. Those classes didn't really help me. And I mean, I'm not saying chemistry and physics are bad as subjects. I would have loved to study them, except we did worksheets that just treated them like another math class. And I didn't learn shit, man. I learned the basic operations of the mathematical equations, but I can't do them. I can't use them for anything. I'm a fucking writer. I don't really value that information. Not to say it's not valuable information, it's just not valuable to me. And it's like, well, when did you know you wanted to be a writer? When I was around like 14. I think everybody has a sort of inclination, or at least like the beginnings of one at 14. And even if you decide to follow one and then you don't want to do it at 22, that's fine. At least you practiced getting a skill, which is how you learn how to get other skills. So I think our school system should put a lot more free time and responsibility on the student, because kids are a lot more capable and intelligent than we give them credit for, and it's stupid of us to not do so. They're just little people. Just let them fucking do what they want. They don't need the guidance of a father or a mother. They just need people to give them advice. They just need people to be like, that doesn't really work that well. But honestly, the best teacher is the fucking stove. Because if you wonder if it's hot and you put your fingers on it, guess what? You figure that shit out. It's the way that we work. It's the way that every animal works, that the environment teaches us. We pull a vine, and if it breaks, we figured something out. If we pull a different vine and it doesn't break, well, I guess something's different. Maybe that one's thicker. It's just logic. Well, it's not even logic, because it's not like abstract philosophy. It's just the way shit works. And we should be much more in tune with that than we are with pieces of paper. Fuck teaching for paper's sake. Fuck teaching for a test. All of that is a waste of time and an insult to the intelligence and talent of our students. Our high school system is a fucking joke. And sure, maybe I don't have a place to criticize because I'm not a principal, but I'm a taxpayer. We're all taxpayers. We're adults here. And if I'm going to be paying for a fucking school system, I want it to be good. I want the public to be getting a good education. I want the kids that were unfortunate enough to be born to at least have the right to learn. I just don't want them to get fucked. Because kids are getting fucked right now. Their childhood is getting robbed from them, and they're getting nothing out of it. That's bullshit.
I'm moving to California. Kind of an awkward segue. But I figured I should talk about it because the set is going to change. We're going to a new location, which is pretty unsurprising if you watch the earlier episodes, as those were shot in random locations. But we're going to the other side of the country, and I don't know. We might go outside. We might find another room. We might be around books. We might not. And, yeah, we're going to California. It's going to be sunny. Probably not going to see it in the videos. Well, maybe. I feel like having a nice cup of coffee in a garden would be cool. I'm also trying to make it more improv and more kinesthetic, you know? Trying to make it have better pacing, stuff like that. So, because the 2 scripted episodes, so episode 1 and 2 on this channel, I think have a little bit of stiffness to them. And obviously something like this is more free-flowing. And I'm gonna make both. I'm gonna make videos that are too free-formed and too scripted until I can figure out a balance. Yeah, so that's basically all I have to say. Portrait of the Rat should be coming out soon, hopefully. I know that was supposed to happen months ago, but I think it was supposed to happen in January of 2016, and that did not happen. It is months later, so no one cares. No one was really waiting on that. But it's cool, and it's going to be coming out soon, so check that shit out. Maybe I'll release a PDF somewhere. Probably I will. I don't know. I leak shit all the time. In other news, probably a mixtape. Maybe a mixtape. Lean for Sale. Fall 2016. Shit's going to be lit. Tell people about us if you want. Well, tell people about Lean for Sale, because it's cool. I don't give a fuck if you tell people about me and what I do. But Lean for Sale's cool, because the musicians are cool. I like them. Also, we got some dope visual art, Holmes. Let me hook you up. Yeah, and that's it. I guess that's the end of this room. It was a good run. It was a nice time. I have boxers on. I really didn't give a shit this episode. And I'll see you in California. Thanks for watching. I'm Carlisle. No, I'm not going to throw a rock at the camera. That'd be stupid.